Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Productions channel here at YouTube, and welcome to the first review video or episode for the year 2024. So today's episode is basically me filling out a obligation to, of course, I don't know if you're quite familiar with this singer, but his name is Eric Claro. He was, for a while, actually I would say maybe a long time, he was singing for a band called Thrust, who were best known for releasing Fists Held High on Metal Blade Records back in, 1984, and for a while they kept getting back together here and there. They split up, get back together, and then eventually they released 3 albums basically, in a way, until whatever happened now, most recently. But Eric Claro was coming off the heels from the band Thrust to then finally putting together this band right here, which is Blackearth, and this is their self-titled debut EP from January 20th of 2023, again, last year now, titled Earth Fragments, and this is a 5-track EP, and this is what I will be reviewing today because of he had contacted me. I was about to get into he had sent this, but he had contacted me first on if I was interested in. Of course, I accepted. So eventually he sent this out to me, and I just didn't have a whole lot of time to really get in front of the camera to review this. So I hope, Eric, that you are at least patient with me. I hope you weren't getting too impatient. I apologize, but here I am finally to give you my thoughts on Earth Fragments from your band, Blackearth. And of course, I should definitely get into this, that Eric Claro these days is now the singer for the band Tyrant, replacing Robert Lowe, who is best known for being in bands like Solitude Eternus, I hope that's how you pronounce it, and Candlemass. So he just replaced him. And so there it is, just some other worthy name drops for you to at least to understand where Eric Claro is as a singer and what bands he's in. Because again, at least for ones that you might be, well, at least you just know. For example, I kind of lost train of thought there. But here we go, let's get into it. Earth Fragments from Blackearth. Now, before I get into giving my thoughts on Earth Fragments from Blackearth, you know what I have to do. I have to do a track list rundown so I can tell you folks what are the songs that are on this EP, how many tracks are on this EP, and what is the time length for this EP. Since this EP consists a total of 5 tracks, it clocks in at the length of 24 minutes and 19 seconds. So, these 5 tracks are starting off with Dead Heart, The Raven, Temple of Darkness, Voyager, and then ending with Warlord. So there you go, folks. There's your overall tracks. So, what are my thoughts on Earth Fragments from Blackearth? Well, I gotta be honest with you. When I first knew that I was going to be receiving this in the mail, again, thanks to Eric Claro who was got into contact with me, obviously maybe past a few weeks before receiving this and everything. Again, this would have been again back in December, so it really wasn't that long ago. But again, contacted me, asking me whether or not I'd be interested in checking this, at least reviewing this EP out. I know I'm kind of stuttering and everything, but to review this EP and possibly get it physically, to review it. Again, he actually, if anything, he had asked me whether or not I would want this digitally or physically. Of course, so that's what I did. I basically answered, all right, just give me this physically. So honestly, I was very happy that I was getting this physically to be able to at least to do my review very properly. But at the same time, I didn't really know what I was going to be expecting. But again, given that this was Eric Claro, who had just come off the heels from being in the band Thrust, who I've been very familiar with. I mean, I own the deluxe box set version of Fists Held High, which has that unreleased as a second disc. I forgot the name of it. It was like Resurrection. I think it was titled that Metal Play put out back in 2015. So I knew we were, and I did kind of check out the last 2 Thrust albums that he was on. So I at least was familiar with his work. But at the same time, I just didn't know how well I was going to, let's say, react to this EP. How I was going to like this as much. And honestly, when I finally got it, I was generally surprised by what I was getting. This is a really solid EP from top to bottom. I mean, I can kind of see why the guys in Tyrant would want Eric Clare, because he does kind of fit that quality, and musically it isn't that far off from what Tyrant was definitely doing, especially if you really were to compare by the first 2 Tyrant albums, that being Legions of the Dead and Too Late to Pray. So it does have that going for it. While it's not nearly as doomy sounding as those, but it does have that sort of very dark, almost gothic, sort of very US working class heavy metal aesthetic to it that those 2 albums possessed. But at the same time, I can draw comparisons to Fate's Warning and for their first 2 releases, being Not Unbroken and The Spectre Within. Again, maybe not so much Awaken the Guardian, because by Awaken the Guardian, you know, Fate's Warning have already gone practically full-fledged, very proggy sort of US metal. Then compared to on the first 2 releases, especially comparing to the first sound, which was straight up very new wave of British heavy metal influenced. But The Spectre Within was that great balance between the sort of new wave of British heavy metal influence and, of course, what was going to be taken fold with the sort of very progressive metal leanings. But so that's where I kind of draw also comparisons to with this release, is that I can hear the similarities between those. Again, if you were to combine Fate's Warning and Tyrant together, again, both bands were at one point were signed to Metal Blade Records. But I don't know whether or not if Fate's Warning is still signed to Metal Blade. I think they could be. I'm not quite sure. I got that Metal Archives printed up. Yeah, they are still with the Metal Blade. I guess they must have always been with Metal Blade. I don't know. I'm going off, digressing. But still, this is I just draw those comparisons between this and there. I'm trying to get back to goddamn Audacity. It's the recording. There we go. Got it on. This is definitely a fun way for you guys to enjoy this, especially you, Eric Claro. But still, I just draw those comparisons, so it's got that sort of old school US metal aesthetic, but again, due to, of course, production, and which is actually really good production, to be honest, very good quality, it does have that sort of rawness to it, but at the same time, it does have a very nice sort of clarity to the sound, and it still has a punchiness, and it works for that. Just with modern technology, they're still able to kind of make it sound as authentic as possible, which to me fits so perfectly with what they're going for. But I think the best sort of songs that I want to try and throw at you for at least for what I'm trying to picture at, whatever, I'm trying to describe would be Temple of Darkness and even Warlord. These 2 songs are the ones that really kind of have what I'm talking about. And Temple of Darkness is a straight up speed metal song, and really sounds like that it wouldn't be too out of place off of a classic Metal Massacre compilation. Again, let's say, like, for example, a really good track to be heard off of one of the Metal Massacres, not one of those that kind of felt like filler, but like a really great track that you would hear off of the Metal Massacre comps that make you go, oh my god, this is so good. I want to hear a full-length down from these guys. I want to try and own a full-length down from these guys. Kind of like that. It's like you can't wait for them to put something out because it gives you such good excitement, and that's kind of what I get from Temple of Darkness. So it's got that sort of quality to it. But it's just great. And another band too I can compare this to is Witchslayer, and I have that release back there too. It will be in the little box there that I have all the my mini LP and Digipack CD physical releases in. Keep them away from all the jewel cases and everything so they don't get crushed. So there you go. But that's technically what I can get from this. So it does have a very doomy quality, but without trying to be full-on doom metal. So it's very understandable why Eric Claro would fit Tyrant's sound, because it does have that. And he has a very good voice. It's very melodic, but it's still old school, and I wouldn't say it's too far off from the guy for Witch Slayer, but it's also not too far off for even the guys in what was it? Maybe so much the original singer for Tyrant, but he's not nearly less raw and sort of aggressive sounding as that guy had. But he just has a good voice and it fits what they're going with, and that's all I really got to say about this CP. It's good. Another track I'd say before I really end this off is Dead Heat. Actually, it's Dead Heart. I don't know, because I'm looking the back. Dead Heart, because of this is the correct track list. And when he sent this, he had to, of course, to send me a note with the correct track list, because for some reason, I guess they must have gave the whoever they gave the release to come up with the back cover must have gotten obviously gotten the track listing wrong. I don't know if that was deliberate, on purpose, whatever, but it just happened that way, and so he had to basically send me a note with the actual song track listing that is on the actual disc and not on the back cover. There it is. But still, it is Dead Heart it kind of has a groove to it as it starts off. While it's not nearly as galloping in the sort of Iron Maiden sense, but it still has a sort of very US sort of galloping sort of groove to it. And it kind of has a bit of what I'm talking about, this sort of gothic sort of vibe to it. But because, again, due to the driving bass of what's her name for the bass player. I know, this is kind of very off the cuff here, because normally I don't do it this way anymore, to get in front of the camera and actually just straight up do a review. But, alright. Now, actually, here we go. Emilia Giulio, I don't know, I just butchered all of that. Jeez. Anyways, she's got a very thick bass tone, and it really kind of drives the song, definitely. It drives the song to a really good pace, and gets into the groove, and therefore just being able to finally just sink into it. And again, it basically is a great way to open up the EP. But again, there's a lot of great sort of tracks besides that. The Raven's very cool, but Voyager and Warlord are definitely more on the melodic sort of side of things. Now, I'm not too melodic, but melodic enough to be heavy and everything, but that's all great. So, that's really all I gotta say, though, about this. It's a really solid EP from Blackearth. It's their debut, and I hope that Eric Claro and the rest of these, the band members, I hope they're able to put together a full-length album, because they're gonna be signed to Pure Steel, and I think they're gonna end up doing a repress of this, because right now this is only self-released, so independent. But once they're with Pure Steel and everything's all ready, set, and go, this is eventually going to get a complete repress, and it'll be released worldwide, and it'll be much more easier to get a hold of. So that's all I'm definitely hoping for, and so that's why this is a great time for me to finally sort of review this right now, because there's a very good possibility that re-release for this EP through Pure Steel Records is obviously going to come out this year. So there you go. That's sort of a future teaser for all of you, if you're really going to be that interested to check this out, and I hope you are interested in checking this out. So there you go. There it is. There's my overall thoughts on Earth Fragments from Blackearth. Now, my rating for this, I'm not going to really give it a rating. I think, if anything, since this is the debut EP, and this is not going to make any other lists as far as, for 2023, because of, well, I've already did my lists of 2023, and I wasn't doing any EPs to be general, so I wasn't going to be doing any EPs, but still, oh, God, I'm going to try that again. Alright, so there you go. There's my overall thoughts on Earth Fragments from Blackearth. I'm not going to be giving this a rating because of, well, that would mean that this is going to make a list. Well, technically, I've already did my what's gonna be and is my only top 10 or top whatever list for 2023, and there's not gonna be any others, and so therefore it'd be almost unnecessary for me to actually give this release a rating. So if anything, this is just more of a recommendation and something that I hope you guys go out and support, and I hope you go on and at least check out Earth Fragments from Blackearth. I'm gonna do my best to leave you links where you can get a hold of this, and I just think this definitely deserves some sort of notoriety. I hope it deserves some attention is probably a better word to go on. And again, all I can just say is to kind of end this out, thank you to Eric Claro for sending this out to me. And I know that it seemed kind of late for me to finally get to doing this, and I hope you're as patient as possible. I didn't want to try and leave you, let's say, on hold for a long time, to finally do this video, but it was finally here, and I hope you're at least satisfied with the end results, and I hope you enjoyed the thoughts I had to say about this. But for those, please do check this one out. I think it's definitely worth your time. So with that, this is Temper Thrasher saying I'm out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.